Taipei Broadcasting Station, FM 93.1. Our very, very more special than usual guest today is
Tina Chen
Tina Chen, who is not only very beautiful with a beautiful headdress, which we'll talk about a little later, but she is the Taizhang, which in English means the station director. So before we continue, we'll just have to let our audience know it is the 59th birthday of
very important today
of the Taipei Broadcasting Station. Yes, so happy birthday. But I think I have the most important question, Tina, for you is, how do you like people to call you? Do you like people to call you Tina, or Taizhang, or Miss Station Director, Madam Station Director, Boss? You know, how do you like people to call you?
Well, everybody called me different way. I will notice and then say yes. Yeah, if you call me Tina, yes, Ross, good to see you.
And if I call you a Taizhang?
Oh, yes, well, how can I do for you?
So you like that, right? You like being the Taizhang.
No, 都可以。他们because in our traditional way, they will call your title, working title, job title.
Okay, yeah. That's why I asked the question, right? Because in English, we normally wouldn't do that unless it was like a very formal kind of business setting. Like it wouldn't be part of everyday language. But here in Taiwan, it might be part of everyday language just to call you Taizhang. I mean, it just sounds so wonderful, you know, instead of being I'm a lawyer or a doctor, being a Taizhang. It just sounds really, really cool, Tina. But did you always want to be a Taizhang? I mean, when you were growing up, did you say to yourself, oh, I want to be a radio station director? When you were a child, is that something you
I had no idea when I was a baby. But I tell you, I was growing up during those radio environment. Because, you know, in my generations, even the TV, we have a television already, but...
Oh, come on, Tina, you don't look a day over, like, 30, come on.
Even nowadays, I listen to the radio every day. It's the reason why I learned how to speak well, because my parents were from Shanghai. So they have at home we can speak in dialect, Shanghai Hua. But I still can pronounce it beautifully, correctly, with a very good Chinese or Mandarin, because I listen to the radio. Yeah.
And in addition to listening a lot to the radio, my sources tell me that when you were a child growing up, you had a lot of exposure to more traditional kinds of arts, a lot of reading. Did you do calligraphy as well? How artsy were you as a child?
I tell you, when I was very little, just a few days ago, I talked with my brother, because they are much senior than I, and then I said, because of you, I read those material much more heavier than at my age, even though I read 武侠小说. When the newspaper comes, and then we grab the newspaper to find out those novel readings, 武侠小说.
This is before the internet.
Yeah, but it's great. Every day we wait for the newspaper. What's going on in the next days?
Yeah. Well, you know, that's what makes Taiwan so great, because it's something we often talk about with the guests on this show is, a lot of people think about Taiwan as being so focused on engineering and science, but actually Taiwan has such a rich diversity of people who understand culture, whether it's Chinese culture, culture from Japan, other parts of Asia, or even other parts of the world. And that actually is an important part of Taiwan society, right? Taiwan's just not only about engineering and manufacturing, right?
Yeah. As a matter of fact, I would like to, the reason why I'm so happy to talk with you, especially we have so many foreigner audience, they have to know previously, over the past 80 years or 70 years, the Republic of China government in Taiwan, at a very, very early age, we learn a lot of things from traditional Chinese literature, readings, everything. Even you just mentioned my calligraphy. I attended the nationwide competition. Yeah, but because my teacher asked us to practice every day.
If you made a mistake, did they whip your hands?
No. We'll make a comparison, because you know when you wrote those the Chinese 书法, you put on the wall. Oh, it's not beautiful. Even though
you mean what, like a public humiliation?
Yeah, but we keep on working hard. It's the reason why I admire Taiwan Semiconductor. They encourage students to participate in the competition, calligraphy competition every year. So it becomes the nationwide competition. It's still good. I admire them. Those young boys and girls can write such beautiful calligraphy. For me, as I just mentioned, we read a lot of Confucius saying. But today, I would like to tell you, my generation, that part, even though nowadays my classmates, schoolmates, even though you know my classmates, they were in the United States, they are in different universities or entrepreneur, but they still in their mind. I would like to mention to my audience Zhen Zi. Zhen Zi is a student of Confucius. He's also the philosopher. We always in our mind, 士不可不弘毅，任重而道远。士就是 intellectual scholars. The philosophy 曾子说 the officer or even the government officer, you may not be without breadth of mind and vigorous endurance. His burden is heavy and his course is long. It means, for example, I'm serving in the government. We have to remember, we have to work hard to serve our people.
Is this saying what inspired you to become a public official? To join the government, to public service?
Probably yes, because in my family, my father was a businessman. My family, none of our members, they were served in the public government, but only me. I don't know why, but they agree with me too. So okay, go ahead. You can go to serve for the government.
But before we talk about your government service in detail, you also studied abroad in Ohio.
Yes.
Tell us about living in Ohio.
Oh.
Besides the cold and the snow.
I got lots of I-20 admission. And I have no idea about Ohio. As a matter of fact, but my professor said, Tina, go to Ohio. Because that is good school. Because Ohio is very tough for communication field. And then, as a matter of fact, I pick up the international affairs as my major. But it's very not different with the other university. I have two major. In addition, education, sociology, they also ask us to pick up some requirement for business school. So we take lots of credits, study very hard. But that is very good memory in my life. Probably you will say, hey, do you study hard? Yes, 24 hours, probably we study 18 hours. Because English is not my mother tongue. Yeah. And then I graduated from the Tsinghua University with foreign language, only for literature of some language studies.
So you could read like Jane Eyre or Shakespeare, but when it came to everyday stuff, you were struggling.
But mention about Shakespeare, I always want to tell my student, previously I taught in the university, or my listeners, I admire my professor very much. Because they were from Chinese mainland. They studied so hard. And then that kind of character and personality show you how to be a good man. Yeah. And then I always remember when we took out some courses about Shakespeare, at the very beginning, the first day he would tell us, say, hey, go to a library, which bookshelf, and how many books you have to study. And then after class, we rush to the library to pick up the books to read it. We still remember his voice. He disguised as the Romeo or Juliet, his voice or her voice. Touch your heart.
A Chinese Romeo and Juliet?
It's also Liang Sanbo Zun Tai. In Chinese literature department, we sing songs with the classical Chinese 词 and 诗, the poem. For 18 years old little girl, I can tell you, even though 我的国文老师, my Chinese literature professor, he interpret the Chinese beautiful classical literature, we would drop tears. So beautiful.
Well, after that experience, go to Ohio and studying international relations. Wasn't that kind of boring?
No, it opened my eyes because my classmates, schoolmates, they are from all over the world.
So give us an example of somebody you met who came from a country you've never heard of.
No, I heard those names because when I was a little girl, I interested in international affairs. But I tell you, I never met them. My classmates were from Africa. I sat behind them. I played their hair. I never know. Oh, yes, the hair like this can curve and can be so long. And even though they have some hair, different hairstyle because different gene from different parts of Africa. Some of them were Kenya's prince. Yeah, so we were good friends. Even though nowadays we still communicate, even though they're back to their hometown. So South Africa, some of the Malaysia girls, wow, they are genius because the government gives them money to get a scholarship. So in Ohio, Athens, I learned a lot. I love my campus. I still remember I left the library at midnight. Everything is dark, but I met people walking toward me with bright teeth. I could not see their face because there is a dark moon time, but they were my classmates.
So you would still encourage young Taiwanese people to go abroad for education, for master's degrees nowadays?
Not only master's, even though doctorate. Everything, please. I encourage the young people, but nowadays you can see those overseas students study abroad decrease a lot. They prefer staying home in Taiwan.
Well, Taiwan's got good universities, doesn't it?
Of course. But I would like them to have an independent life and to have communicate or to make friends.
That's important, for sure.
In Ohio, I learned a lot. During the break time, I went to different states with my host family. I'm so touched about their love. American people, they are so kind.
Okay, so before we move on from Ohio, just one more question about your life in Ohio, because it sounds like you really loved it. What is something you loved to eat when you were in Ohio?
Oh, I have to eat?
Yeah, what did you love to eat, something you really loved about American food? You're making a face, what? You love Chinese food more?
No, the reason why, the rice, they steam the rice. My stomach cannot digest well, number one. Number two, the spinach. So cold, and then even during the winter time, it's snowy. We still eat those very cold food. Yes, so I tell you, those students, we all sit together. The Asian students sit together, and then we can hear the noise coming from our body. It's too cold.
Well, fortunately, you came back to Taiwan, and you went to work in the Taipei city government. And you've worked in 2 different agencies before you came to the radio station. You worked in something called the Mishuchu, which is like the secretariat, and then you also worked in the Wenhuaju, which is like cultural affairs. Tell us first about working in the secretariat, the Mishuchu. What did you do there?
I tell you, Taipei is different with the other city in Taiwan, because in Mishuchu secretariat we have an office called International, nowadays International Affairs Division. That time we call it Protocol Office. Ministry of Foreign Affairs, they have a Protocol Office. We have a Protocol Office as the capital of the country, in the Republic of China.
Sure.
So we are dealing with the international affairs. We are dealing with the connection with the sister cities all over the world. So we are busy with the international conference or the cities courtesy call to each other. So it's a reason why, or even we link different departments, education, health, or security, different departments, to link with the other countries or cities department that we are doing. And I'm very fortunate. I travel around the world, 50 different countries.
50 countries?
50
with
countries.
Which mayors? All the past mayors?
Different mayors.
Yeah.
Yeah, because we have to work to communicate with them, and then we say, oh, okay, 2 mayors can come, or a delegation should go there, etc. It make me have another vision to see the world. Yeah.
And then you switched to the Department of Cultural Affairs, which is really consistent, what it sounds like, with your love of reading and Chinese culture and these things. Tell us some really special events you worked on when you were at the Department of Cultural Affairs. Even
nowadays, unfortunately, you did not interview some people. Nowadays, we have a Taipei Arts Festival, Taipei Children Art Festival, Taipei Fringe, or Taipei Film Festival, etc. Nowadays, 20 years already. At that time, we started that kind of festival, or poem festival. Then, after this year establishment, we can see our citizens, they have different life. Another thing is very important, even only Taipei's children, they are so lucky because we co-work with the education department. Every school students from elementary grade 1, they should go to the library, the theater, go to concert hall, or go to the Chinese Taipei Fine Arts Museum. 6 different grade students. They enlarge their vision. We call it that is a cultural right. That's right, because some people, their parents were rich, so send them to learn violin, piano. But some, they are not able to. But we bring them to the concert hall.
Yeah, well, as we talked about at the beginning of the show, I mean, Taiwan is not just about economy and manufacturing. There's a cultural aspect to Taiwan as well. So why do you think it is that the previous city governments, that before your time, why didn't they emphasize these things? Well, why was it only when you got to the cultural affairs that you started these programs?
I tell you that we are lucky. Then, as a matter of fact, I still want to mention her name. She was the director or commissioner of cultural affairs. She's the first Taipei Cultural Affairs Commissioner, Long Yingtai. Taipei Cultural Affairs also is the first department of culture in Taiwan, different local city governments. And she brought lots of new ideas and encouraged the government to do those things. Yeah, nowadays, yeah.
Now we consider these normal, as you said. I mean, these are popular events. Parents like to bring small children. Obviously, adults like to attend these events as well. And it's also a normal part of any city life to have these things.
Yeah, so it's a reason why you can see nowadays every city they got the cultural departments, and then they learn from Taipei.
Well, because you know what we say in English, imitation is the sincerest form of flattery.
Very
so
good.
Speaking of which, we're going to take a break shortly, and we're going to hear some really interesting music. But before we do that, tell us about this interesting headdress that you're wearing. And unfortunately, people listening on the radio might not be able to see it because they're listening on the radio, but people watching us on YouTube can see it. Tell us about what you're wearing today.
Today is special for Ross. He's so nice to me. And then, because I want to present a song, the song is very popular because in Taipei radio station we have 2 channels. One is FM 93.1, that is you are listening to. Next one is AM 11.34, and then I'm wearing this garland of flora, so beautiful. And then because I want to present to an original song, the 南王姐妹花, Nanwang Sisters song, that is 妈妈的花环, mother's, yeah, the garden of flora.
Well, let's take a listen to the music, and we'll be back after the beautiful music and continue our chat with Station Director Tina Chen. Welcome back to Residence Messenger program on Taipei Broadcasting Station with our special guest, Station Director Tina Chen. It is the 59th birthday of the Taipei Broadcasting Station. Tell us a little bit about the history. Take us back 59 years. Why did this radio station develop? Why was it created? And then how did its role change over the years? Tell us the history.
Wow, that is, we saw people change, the age changed. Around 49 years ago, as a matter of fact, it should be 60 more years ago. Since in 1955, at that time, because of the communist aircraft will have an air raid in Taiwan. So the government has to establish those loudspeakers on the streets. That is very beginning for the Taipei radio station. At that time, we call it 民防广播电台, civil defense. Yeah, and then Taiwan Coalition Command, they control this radio station. Gradually, because of the time changes, we become a kind of civil defense radio station.
So you mean for many years there was no entertainment?
See,
no
singing, dancing, I think, yes. It's a reason why you can see in our, we got auditorium, we get concert hall. It's a reason why we still have the kind of chorus competition or concert.
But going back 50, 60 years ago, was this radio station only for announcements about civil defense, or did they also play music and entertainment back then?
Everything, a combination, but basically the meaning is for the civil defense. I tell you, 100 meters away from our building, there is a bomb shelter tunnel.
Still today?
Still there.
Well, you better not tell people, because too many people might try to run inside.
No, we are going to open it. The Taipei City government is right now cleaning the area. We are going to probably open it 2 years later. Yeah, that is for good memory. Even though, because at the time, different department had a small office in the tunnel, and we radio station, every day we broadcast there for 1 hour. practice every day. So welcome 2 years later to go to that terminal to see.
Yeah, as a tourist, not because there's an air raid, right?
Yeah. So it's the reason we can see, number one, we are very happy to see at least right now, the strait between Taiwan and the mainland keep peace.
Of course, we all hope for that.
Yeah.
But why did the control of this radio station pass from the central government to the city government?
Because of half subsidized by finance subsidized by the Taipei city government.
Oh, okay.
Gradually, they say, "Hey, Taipei city government.
Why don't you just take it over?"
Yeah, please. Yeah. So no more military officials working with we call it 我们是文职 government official together. Then we started a very good normal. We are well known at that time. We have a radio drama always won the popular listening. Some of them probably you do not know. For Chinese people, they know some poem Ya Xuan, poet. He's the announcer, so read a novel, beautiful voice. And at 8 o'clock in the evening, citizens staying home to listen to his novel reading. Yeah. That is that time because TV is still not so popular.
Maybe only 3 channels back then, no cable,
only 3,
right?
Yes.
Yeah. But now it's a much more competitive environment. So
totally.
Tell us a bit about the role of public radio in a very competitive media environment. Look, Taiwan, there's obviously there's the internet, there's cable TV, there's even now MOD, digital cable television, so you could get hundreds of TV stations, you get Netflix, lots of radio stations. What's the role of a public radio station?
Nowadays, I would like to say, there are only 5 public radio stations now. But police radio station and education and Taipei radio station are the main 3. The others, they are going down nowadays. I heard their budget has been cut gradually. Because the reason why we are important, because Taipei city government strongly support us. And then probably we're interesting, you are only broadcast the program about Taipei city government? No, we open our door to let our listeners or audience to know what's happening in the world, in the society. But basically, of course, if there are some good things happen or sponsored or by the city government, we have to make a very good announcement to people or have an in-depth interview with them, let them know. I emphasize a lot for those disadvantaged people, for those elderly people, they should get lots of help. For example, today Taipei City Broadcasting Station, we just use a very good handicapped lift for those people. We do not, because we are situated in the historical side, we are not able to dig the elevator. So for those handicapped with wheelchair, nowadays we can have a very good move lift to the 4th floor where we are situated here now.
Where we have events.
Yeah.
Yeah, tell us a little bit about this special building, because people might drive by it because it's on a busy street in Taipei. It's across the street from the Fine Arts Museum on Zhongshan Beilu. Tell us about this really fascinating building where the radio station is located.
Yeah, this radio station has been for 50 years. It's according to the law. It's a historical building already. So it means if I want to rebuild or do some construction, I have to get permit from the government, number one. So I'm so nervous, very seriously. But we are happy. This building has been one of a landmark. Lots of people in their memory, whenever they drive through Zhongshan Bei Road, they can see this building with white wall and red the front of a window.
Yeah, it's got that white, the red. To be frank with you, to me it looks like a very Chinese-style building.
Yeah, it was the architect he passed away. Yue Zhen, Professor Yue Zhen, he's a very famous gentleman. Yeah, but this building, previously, besides the Taipei Zoo, Taipei 儿童乐园,
the old location for the zoo and the 儿童乐园nearby.
Nearby, so that is a very well-known building. Nowadays they move away, but this building is still in our Taipei citizens' memory. Yeah, so we're happy nowadays. It's comparatively with the other radio station, our space is bigger.
And it's nice. I mean, I've visited other radio stations. They're just in an office building. We have our own pretty building right next to a park.
Exactly. So I'm happy since last year we have a very good enforcement construction that's stronger.
Yes, did some nice renovations and cleaned up the outside so it's even brighter, whiter, and redder. Going forward, we talked a little bit about the competitive media environment in Taiwan. Tell us about the future role, though, of a public radio station. I mean, what kind of programs do you need to have in order to maintain public support, city government support, city councilors support? They need to approve the budget. How do you do that in the future? 1 year, 2 years, 5 years from now?
Okay, that is a very serious issue for us to face. Number one, I would like to tell you, because of media competition so seriously, different radio stations, they have tried to find out another new ways.
Yeah. They're always looking for their model, the operating model that can succeed.
Of course, because I'm not a private radio station, I could not do those political talk or something very, very exciting things. But number one, we still have a very good music or arts, that kind of program, or reading program. So from the feedback of my audience, I know they hope, beside those noise, they still can keep a calm and peaceful and by listening program.
And is that because we don't have the commercial pressure, right? We're not trying to sell advertising to survive as a public radio station.
I would like to tell you, my counterpart of a radio station, 2 of them in southern Taiwan, they want to sell it because during this period of time, they are not able to survive. Yeah. But I believe those self-media or different ways we have to pick up the good points or the usage of them. We still believe content is very important. And then we have to adopt different tools to help different audience or listeners to have a close contact with us. It's a reason why tomorrow, August 1st, we are going to have a concert at Da'an Forest Park. 我们有个音乐会. Every year we have 2 very good concerts. Yeah, one is at Da'an during summertime because of the anniversary celebration. The other one at the end of this year, normally we were at Zhongsantang, a beautiful concert. So everybody's get together. It's like old friends meet together or new friends come together. The love can link each other. It's the reason why you just ask me, hey, people will ask you something, call your name, Tina, or some 台长. When I walk on the way, people will call me 台长. I have to know, yes, greet them. Or when I was in the theater, they recognize me. It means they have very close connection with us. They recognize me.
So do you respond to all audience feedback?
Oh, yes.
You write back to everyone?
Even though, we talk like family members because they are familiar with my different hosts, their voice, their contents. Yeah, it's the reason why I ask my colleagues to have so close feeling with them because most of the listeners, they would like to have a kind of feeling accompanying them during their daytime or nighttime. Even though nowadays we can listen to the program in different times.
Yeah, we could record it, listen on YouTube.
Yeah, it's a reason why even though they miss you, you're tonight or 8 to 7 in the evening and midnight, they want to listen to your program.
And you're not just a taijang, you're also a host. You do have your own show, and you talked earlier today about connecting Taiwan people with international affairs and foreign cultures. Tell us about your own show that you host on FM 93.
Thank you. Give me this opportunity to advertise. Thank you very much. It's every Sunday afternoon, 2 o'clock to 3 o'clock. In Chinese it means 台北与世界对话. In English, Tina's show, talk show. Oh, the reason is very interesting. I was not supposed to host a program, but we have a survey every year to ask our listeners. Say, hey, what do you think we can do? Say, you have to do some international style program. Yeah. And then we, of course, we would like to invite you,
thank
people.
you, Tina. Thank you.
It's true. But at the time, 6 years ago, I haven't met you yet. Then we started it. But fortunately, because as you know, I work in the International Affairs Department for quite a long time, I know those ambassadors, Chinese or foreign ambassadors, or those countries, friends. We have sister cities, officials, they came to Taiwan, or even though very important, in Taiwan nowadays, we have a lot of organizations. They have a strong link or service for those foreign countries. It's quite touch hearts. No matter 实际, they have helped in different corners of the world. Even some, the organizations, they kindly contribute their life, to 东南亚, Southeast Asian, to Laos, Burma, etc. I listen to their story. Some volunteers, they just get together, the fundraising, and to help the people they never know in their life. That is, we help the world. It's great. I would like to let our audience know Taiwan is not so limited. We can go to the world because we want to help the people in the world.
Well, it's great to hear that, but to me it's even more important to hear that these people that have come on your show, they're involved in things through private organizations. They do it on their own. They're not pushed by government agencies to do these things. Right? It's not taxpayer money, right? They do these things because they want to. And it's a good thing to do for society.
Yeah. I believe, as I just mentioned, when I was in Ohio, I learned a lot from your American people. You were so kind. You have a host family. It's a reason why at that time you hosted a foreign student, young, naive, and then that kind of Christian spirit. In Taiwan, we also can share this spirit to the world. Yeah, we have Taiwan is fortunate enough we can do something for the world now. Yeah.
We don't have too much time left, Tina, but I always love to hear from my guests, no matter what profession or business they're in. Your case, your business is running a radio station. I always love to hear some really funny experiences they had. So tell us something really funny that happened here at the radio station during your time as director. Something unexpected, a crisis, the guest didn't show up, the equipment didn't work. Tell us some funny stories about being the station director.
Okay, I tell you, some hosts, they were deeply loved by their audience. Loved too much.
Oh. Okay, this has never happened to me, but go on.
But not for you. The others, they stand outside to wait for those hosts. And then we have no way. You know, the first floor of our building is police station.
Yeah, thankfully.
We call them, please, escort
the hosts, yeah.
There to leave the station.
Yeah. Well, you know, in English we call that kind of person a groupie.
Groupie.
You know, they follow like a celebrity around.
Yes. Nowadays, they still write letters. Young generation audience write letter every day. Send my hosts, they do not dare to open it.
Oh, you mean like a real letter, not a
real
email.
Letter, not email. And nowadays they have not email that we can line, open the line. They join as the member of the line.
The line group.
Line group every day send kind of.
They go over the line with the message. They say a bit too much.
They will tell me, oh, look at it. They say this to me. Or some photos paste on it.
Okay, like I said, this has not happened to me, boss. We are almost out of time, but one final thing, Tina. What is one more thing you'd like the audience to know about FM 93.1?
Okay. Ladies and gentlemen, we have two channels. One is FM 93.1, the other one AM 1134. We try our best. Number one, I hope because of us, my audience, they got a peaceful life. They know somebody always behind them. For example, this period of time, I asked my host to produce a program in the theme of love. Some blind people, they are typewriter. They are typing for the message. you listen to their story, you know their life can be so creative and can be so helpful, hopeful. And then we can have a bright future because of we help each other. And then by these themes, I know sometimes we go to different homestay, the organization, nursery to look after those elderly people. We think that is, we want to share our love to the society, to the people. So whenever our audience, they call us or write us letters or even only listen to our voice, they know somebody always beside them. When I was an audience, listen to a program, a lady, she committed suicide with her children because of domestic violence. I'm so angry. I said, why don't you cry for help from the government? It's the reason why nowadays my radio station has so strong connection with the different departments of Taipei city government. Health, education, social, everything. If we can help people, please let our hands with you. That is what I want to do.
Well, thank you so much for coming in today. And I just have to say from the bottom of my heart, happy 59th birthday to Taipei Broadcasting Station.
Thank you, Ross. Because of you, we are so honored to have you to be our host here. Thank you very much.
Thank you. You've been listening to Residence Messenger, a program on Taipei Broadcasting Station. Have a good weekend.